call this 94 feet of barbecue. MJ and Trav are recording this as they are on the grill in their respective residences. Pam and I are just chilling. I'm getting ready to go see the family in about an hour and a half. So we had to get some time in with y'all. We hadn't taped in about a week. So we wanted to kind of get some thoughts. We are at halftime of Brooklyn and Milwaukee. Milwaukee is leading at halftime. And let's kind of just start right there. Little bit of a turn in the series with Brooklyn and Milwaukee. Little bit of a change. Jump right in. You know how we do it. We don't point at people. Just go.
Hey, before we get started, man. Like, first off, shout out to Trav's Drumsticks. This man, it was raining outside. This man barbecued at the edge of his garage and still made it shake. Shouts out to the smoke fried wings. It was the first time I ever smoke fried some drumsticks. They came out immaculate. I had a video that I only showed to my people because it ain't none of y'all damn business. Shouts out to Ronnie. I'm pretty sure we're going to have a potluck. We're going to bring the Simply so I can make tequila sunrises.
Yeah.
And J Hab is going to bring the brownies for the 5G. So we hey, man, wait till we get together. This is going to be a movie. Anywho, absolutely. About this. I always said barring injury, Brooklyn was going to be the favorite. Now Kyrie is down with an ankle injury. Right? But what I'm seeing now is it's like Blake Griffin is playing with a different level of intensity and a different level of commitment that we are not used to seeing, at least not since his Clipper days. So the question is him and KD enough? In my opinion, I think it should be. So I don't think there's any excuse why they shouldn't get out of this series, even if Kyrie and James Harden's hurt. So let me put that out there. There is no excuse. Y'all have more than enough. With that being stated, I like how the Milwaukee Bucks have turned their team or turned the Brooklyn team into a one-dimensional team. When you're dealing with a talented team, you want to almost make them bore themselves to death. When you have a talented team, most talented guys that I've trained, most prodigies that I've trained, when we do things over and over and over, even if it's something that you should want to do like shooting, their mind has a tendency to drift. Because they're so used to mixing things up. They're so used to having to do different coverages, different reads, to where their mind is accustomed to that. When you put them in a situation where, okay, we're just going to let you just shoot 100 times straight. It's like when you put them in a game situation, they almost get too bored with it to where they take themselves out the game. And I thought in game 3, Milwaukee did that. Milwaukee pretty much was just like, all right, it's just going to be a one-on-one game all season. It's going to be me. It's going to be Giannis and Middleton versus Kyrie and Durant. And we're going to figure it out from there. Role players, y'all out of this. This is what it's going to be. And it ended up working. So now we're seeing the Bucks up 5 with kind of the same remedy. They're letting them go one-on-one and just letting them figure it out. And now the game is more stagnant, which plays into Milwaukee's hands. Trav, what you think?
You got to take advantage of the opportunities that's given to you. Bottom line. I mean, I'm pulling for the Nets to advance to the next round, but Milwaukee is doing exactly what they need to do. They are making this game ugly. They're making it ugly, although the pace is still there, but they're making it ugly. This is. If you like 90s basketball, if that's what y'all bragged about and all that stuff there, they're bringing it. They're bringing it. The Nets, they've trying to finesse and power their way through, but when your 1 and 2 gun is down, and that's what somewhat of your team is made of, your others got to step through. We got to see Mike James step through. Jeff Green just came back. Immediately, he got to come on with it.
Yeah,
he got to come on with it. So right now, the Bucks right now have the Nets. I mean, unfortunately for the injuries, they got them where they want them right now. So you better take advantage of it. So I see them taking advantage of it right now. So we'll see what's going on. What you got for them?
Well, this is the one that I expected Brooklyn to be challenged. It started off, of course, 2-0, but then, the fashion that it went 2-0. Game one was pretty much, we're going to hold them at arm's length. and handle, cancel out. Game 2 was, you know, Mohab with three Stooges center snap style. But hey, but that's hold and serve at home. You know what I'm saying? That's
Hey,
just
hey, for real, you did that before in your real life happened, or your former
yeah,
life.
I have, and I grew up watching Three Stooges, so another story on another end. But not well, I may have actually physically done it to a few. We wrestled in Memphis. I mean, we playground boxed and all that stuff too.
No, no,
Then I
no.
get
We not gonna just scoot over that 6-piece spicy you just gave 94 feet. I mean, I know we grilling wings, but Ham is handing out.
hey,
Obviously, he's handing out. I did not
but
know this direction. I'm sorry. What you were saying, bro? I'm sorry. I got distracted.
but no, it's just, and then of course they get back to Milwaukee. Like Trav said, they get the like you and Trav said, they made the thing one dimensional. They slowed it down. They got it brought to a level. Okay, we can put this thing in the mud. And Brooklyn can get it in the mud too.
Yeah.
But when they on the road, they down a man. Right now, they might be down two. It's a little tougher of a task, So Milwaukee is pretty much doing what I'm expecting. I expected them to do. Whether they end up the day ends up 3-1 or we united at two. It's pretty much what I was expecting at that. I still like Brooklyn to get out of it, but they hadn't really seen adversity all year together with all them together. They still haven't because Harden ain't playing right now.
And now Kyrie ain't playing.
And right, we don't know if Cat coming back or when or whatever the case may be. So
let me say this, and I'm gonna pass Big Shot. I've said this so many times, but I'm gonna repeat it until it sticks to y'all. Championships dwell in the areas of uncomfort.
Mm-hmm.
Kevin Durant's whole career he's always been uncomfortable when the game got money. Always. It doesn't mean he has not won before, but he's always been uncomfortable when the game got money. When you put him in a situation where he had to just play one-on-one for an entire game, it's not in him to want to do that. He can. He's probably one of the best scorers I've ever seen because of the efficiency standpoint. But also, by the same token, how many games have you really seen Kevin Durant just shoot 30, 32 times? He don't do it. He don't want to do it.
Not too many.
He doesn't want to do it. It's just not in him to want to do it. He doesn't want to play basketball that way. He can, and I'm pretty sure if he shot 35 times, I'm pretty sure he'll hit 22 of them. I promise you he would. He just don't want to do it. So, if we're able to see it, I'm pretty sure NBA scout or NBA scouting team and the Milwaukee Bucks to see it too. Like, okay, Kevin, let's see if you got enough to just shoot 30 times a game. And with Kyrie, let's see if, you go on one-on-one, but let's see if you could constantly make the right read every time you go one-on-one and we bring this help side to you. Joe Harris, we just not going to even leave you. So see if you could do something else. And it's been working so far. So Big Shot, go ahead, chime in. I had to say that. I'm sorry.
Yeah, as we talked about, if you're gonna beat Brooklyn, you got to make it ugly. Got to make it ugly. You got to make it a mud fight. And Milwaukee has managed to do that. They played them very physical. I think Brooklyn. The one thing Brooklyn is not the most physical team in the world. I'm not saying they soft anything like that. They're very much an offense in the flow, running up and down. And Milwaukee is like, we're gonna just make it ugly. So, and then now with the Kyrie injury, and this is the thing that Bill Russell said, injuries are as much a part of the game as free throws. And that is true. Every team is a bad fall away from having their championship hopes dashed or raised. So if you're the Nets, I think it's really important if you're the Nets. I mean, every game in a playoff series is important. But if you can get out of this today at 3-1 up and possibly be down Kyrie and Harden, you've given yourself a cushion. If you lose today and this gets to 2-2, and I don't know what Harden and Kyrie gonna look like the rest of the series, this gets very dicey going into a potential game, going into a game 5 and a game 6. So, every game is must win. But I think today the Nets this is a more must win right now to me for the Nets, because a 2-2 and being down your two best players is a very, as MJ just alluded, this is a very uncomfortable situation if we're gonna be down our 2 by 3 in a series that's now tied.
I agree. Jerm, chime in on this, man. I don't go into your PO box just yet, man. It's a beautiful day outside. I don't want you PO today. Like,
no PO, man. I'm gonna be honest.
Mail don't deliver on Sunday anyway, bro.
We gonna call this what it is. I mean, I see. I've watched the games over. I've seen the number of possessions. I've counted the possessions. I've done the full lab scouting on this series. Milwaukee, technically, what we're talking about, they haven't technically slowed the pace down because the pace right now currently is right around where they are. Actually, Milwaukee has had more possessions in this series than Brooklyn has, which it ain't just offensive rebounds. We talking in game 1, 101 possessions just strictly before we count anything that was turnover based and anything like that. So the most interesting part of this series for me is obviously the difference in the whistles, which happens in home cook areas and things like that. We don't complain about refs and things like that.
No.
But this is part of the series. This is why we have a home court. This is why the bubble last year was what the bubble was last year, and why coming back and being on the road and having to play these games in other people's home courts and things like that is important. For Brooklyn, it's really serious. It's really simple. They can't really do anything with you when you put Brook Lopez in the screen and roll. So they have to downsize to Bobby Portis. If you don't have Kyrie, that means you need to put Shaman and you need to put Mike James in them situations for the rest of the game and trust them to make the right read.
And right there, before you go on, news just in, Kyrie's out. Game 4, he's out.
I figured. No, I figured that. And even just adding to that, it was a play that solidified everything that I feel about Brooklyn versus Milwaukee. It was Mike James had a fast break. He had a layup, but he wanted to throw the oop.
He tried to throw the lob. Yep.
So it's like Milwaukee has automatically just doubled and tripled down on the fact that you guys are not getting the momentum plays. We won't let you get the momentum stuff. We're not going to give you the stuff that's going to get your bench hype, that's going to get your players hype, because that's what leads to the 11, 13-point runs. You're going to have to play basic, fundamental basketball in which you make the simple read every time. And that simple read is not going to be the reads you're used to. It's going to be reads that you're not used to making. As the game starts right now, you can even see they're trying to start ball movement. PJ Tucker is doing a gentleman's job on Kevin Durant. The scouting report on Joe Harris is if he dribbles right and pulls up, he's probably going to miss it. He's a catch-and-shoot player, or he rather goes left.
And he showed just did that shit.
I mean, so if he comes around a handoff, you sit on his left shoulder, you know he doesn't want to dribble and go to the basket. So if he dribbles right and pulls up, it's going to be off because the way he shoots, his body is going to turn to the opposite baseline.
Let me tell the people right now that's just checking in, that's listening. My uncle out in California, he out listening to us. He just sent me a text. Y'all better absorb this game that y'all getting from Myron Hubert Brown Jenkins, the creator of Ball U Academy and all other fine things and other products in his castle. But the man, he just called it straight up. The scout report on Joe Harris, and I'm looking at Joe Harris, dribble to his right, clank.
Every time.
So let's get into.
Go ahead.
Go ahead, John.
No, you go ahead.
No, I'm gonna get to the next series. Go ahead. Finish that.
No, and I was just going to say, for whatever reason, Joe Harris has not made the read to just be able to just go to the basket with your right. Because when you go to the basket with your right, that's a solid right-hand layup that they will give you because they're so scared of your shot. It's the same thing that Curry had a problem with when he had his ankle injury. Curry didn't want to go to the basket because he was scared to jump off that ankle. And everybody kind of figured that and just said, we just go take away your three-pointer. And he never adjusted. Right. That's why they end up – that's why Kevin Love was able to, get that stop on them in that series where they lost. And if he never established
his rhythm in that series. Never.
Exactly. But if you saw the next series when he wasn't injured with that ankle and Kevin Love, same thing. He just went around Kevin Love for a layup. Difference with Joe Harris just don't want to layup. He don't want to layup. So if he drives right, he's still looking to pull up, but he has not yet really hit a lot of percentages off the drive from the 3-point line, at least with his right hand pulling up. Because when you pull up with your strong hand, your body is automatically facing the opposite baseline, which means Kobe was a master at this, by the way, and so was Jordan. They had the athleticism to jump up, adjust their body in midair, and line up the ramp. That's why they were cool with going strong hand and pulling up.
Right.
Joe Harris don't have that athleticism to do that.
A lot of cats don't, but there's a lot more cats that have it than have more athleticism than what Joe Harris got. There's no knock at Joe Harris.
None at all. He's a great player.
It's just one of those things. Yeah, it's just one of those deals.
And let's not get it twisted too. When we give you lab work, it's not to say that these dudes ain't incredible at what they do. It's just this is the scouting report that the other team is saying. This is why you're seeing guys not be successful in the playoffs because they have yet to figure it out and make the adjustment. All right, Big Shot, you can go ahead. I'm sorry because I can do this all day. I got the tequila surprise in me. I'm ready.
Speaking of successful in the playoffs, last night the Clippers cut the series to 2-1 over Utah. And talk about successful in the playoffs, and the guy who's kind of had the knock on him for the last 10,000 years is Paul George. Well, last night he was really successful in the playoffs. Had a great game. Kawhi, not necessarily doing the Batman Robin thing, but those two guys, that was the best of Paul George and Kawhi. That is what 2 years ago. That was what you signed up for. If you're the Clippers, was that. And shout out to the third guy on that team. I never thought when this whole thing put together, if you said, man, who was the third guy for the Clippers? Never did I think the name was going to be Reggie Jackson. But to be fair, when we give you the jokes where you deserve the jokes, but when you do something praiseworthy, you get the praise. Reggie Jackson for the last 2 weeks has been really good. And he done got Rondo out the rotation. He had Patrick Beverly out the rotation.
Get off mute, Trav. Keep going.
Reggie. So Trav, go ahead, take yourself off mute because I'm going right to you. For Reggie Jackson, hey, to you, sir. He has had a great last 2 weeks.
I'm going to say this one thing and this one thing on. Y'all, first of all, y'all look where it's actually two. First of all, y'all look at these playoffs going because we're going to keep this show nice and neat for you all. Second of all, why don't y'all give the praise to Paul George when he does good, but y'all rain on the parade when he does bad? Stop it. Stop it once and for all. The playoff P, the whatever jokes that y'all have, y'all didn't see last night.
Yo, you want me to answer that, Fred?
It was too quiet on my phone. It was too quiet in my group. It was too quiet on my page. It's too quiet when that dude be playing ball. And we always tell y'all, it's going to come. It's going to come.
No, let me answer. And I'm going to get this to German. I'm going to pass everybody around. I'm going to hit you real quick with this, and I'm going to go basketball after that.
I'm
going to tell you like this. When you get to jive and troll on somebody, that's when you go viral. When you give somebody props, 20 likes. That's the reason why.
It's sad, man. That's sad.
So just like how I say, don't hate the player, hate the owner. Don't hate the troll, hate the system.
Mm-hmm. It's sad.
The system is set up for you to have to say something negative in order for you to get put on. It's fucked up. I'm not going to do it. I refuse to sell my basketball soul, my purest basketball soul, to you fucking social media people. Y'all can have it. Y'all got it. Y'all want. You come here when you want to know about some basketball for real. That's where you come over.
Y'all sit up.
If you can't do it, don't come. It's cool.
Okay, let's come on. Let's get to the next. Let's let everybody get a turn.
Yeah, go ahead.
real quick, real easy. Clippers, Jazz, keys to the series. If we want to talk about this objectively, the Clippers are winning everywhere that matters, except for one place. That's at the 3-point line. When they lose the 3-point battle, they get their ass kicked. It's just that simple. Mm-hmm. You have to run them off threes, make them take twos, and if you do that, you'll be in a good spot. They did that in Game 3. They equaled out the 3-point margin, and they actually had a chance to win the game, and they won the game. In Game 1, the Clippers made one less three, and they had an opportunity to be in that game as well. And obviously, they made 23s in Game 2. It's really that simple. Run them off the 3-point line. They're not moving the ball, meaning Donovan Mitchell is not making all the time the correct reads. Trap him. Make him have to make the correct read every possession, and you'll be right in the game at the end, and you have the two best players still in the series with PG and Kawhi.
I'll let him have before I cook. Oh, no. Okay.
Go ahead. You got it.
No, I was going to say him.
I was going to say it like this, man. The LeBron contingency camp, they might not like what I'm about to say, but when he ain't in the playoffs, deep in the playoffs, it allows us to learn a whole lot more about some other people, other teams, other grinds, because it allows some other things to step up and pull itself up. A couple of years ago when this happened, we saw Dame and CJ emerge on both ends of the floor. Mm-hmm. Eventual trip to a conference finals. We saw Jamal and the Joker pretty much kind of come to their own and take the steps and continue that going into the bubble last year. Now we're getting to see this Utah team try to take the step as well. And I go back to what Big Shot said before we even started the playoffs with Phoenix, when we had everybody on. That one team that hasn't been tested. They hadn't been through the test yet. But through these first, 9 games, they passing with flying colors, at least thus far. And they're on the verge of closing out later on today.
And that's where we're going to go next. Phoenix, 3-0 up on Denver. And to be honest, it should be. I mean, if it's possible to sweep somebody in 3, this would have been Phoenix has been in complete control of that series from the jump. And once again, it's the old dog. Just complete mastery of game management. The chess master, whatever you want to call them. I put in the group, death taxes and that elbow jumper. Mm-hmm. If I'm Phoenix today, we have 3-0. We're going to run that pick and roll 100 times. And until you do anything with it, we are just going to run it. Chris Paul could score 50 in it tonight because they haven't figured this out yet. So I'm going to go Trav, take yourself off me. I'm going to go Trav and then back to MJ. You can shoot on Chris Paul. We can talk about the maturation of the Sun team, but Phoenix is absolutely putting on a clinic led by the instructor, Chris Paul.
Yesterday I was talking to one of my coworkers, and Chris Paul has always been with a guy that a big that can roll to the basket. He may have a 3 guy or whatever that he can work with. He has never had the dynamic of a player as Devin Booker. He's never had a player like Devin Booker. Devin Booker can do not what Chris Paul can do, but he has similarities. But the thing about it, he's an elite shooter. Mm-hmm. And with him and the rest of those pieces being athletic and can run and can jump, James Harden does not count. We're not going to do that. I've seen that too. James Harden does not count. Because James Harden was dribbling the ball just as much as he was. But at the same time, he has other players that can complement him athletically with Ayton, which is playing real good basketball. You ain't gonna be able to stop Jokic. You're not, but he's doing a damn good job in holding his own. Don't have to double as much. And surprisingly, big shot. When Phoenix double Joker, they get turnovers.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They get turnovers. So Phoenix is doing exactly what they're supposed to do at this point. You're the number 2 seed. You got to take care of business. And I think they're going to close the show tonight. I think they're going to close the show tonight.
So Denver and Utah, to me, have the same problems. And Utah, the only difference is Utah is up 2-1 and Denver is down 3-0. The same problems is your star player is predictable and everybody else around them are role players that are predictable. So it's easy to take away what they want to do. Just kind of going back to the Clippers-Utah series, Donovan, we know he wants to go downhill and score. Jordan Clarkson, we know he wants to score. We know everybody else wants to shoot. That's why I was stating, like, it's hard for them to score when the Clippers lock in. That's why I was like, I wouldn't be surprised if the Clippers win 4 straight. Now, moving back to the Phoenix and Denver series, we know Jokic wants to pass the ball. We know this. Even when he scores 30, he still looks like he's trying to pass the ball. We know this. And the thing with Phoenix is, first and foremost, we talk about Chris Paul. Let's just keep it a buck with Chris Paul, though. Chris Paul wasn't mature enough to have a player like Devin Booker. So when all those people were talking about that trade that got vetoed, it wouldn't have worked because Chris Paul was still stubborn. He was still young and stubborn to work with Kobe. They would have clashed like a motherfucker. It would have been Shaq and Kobe part 2.
And make sure you soundbite that too. Like after
No,
the show,
because people don't.
We got to spread that. We got to spread that one though.
No, spread it. Please print that. Please document that.
Because I'm glad you said it.
No,
but
because everybody
for the reasons that you saying it too.
Yeah, no, because everybody think we was just so hard on Chris Paul or we wasn't giving him props. No, Chris Paul has always been an elite player. He's always been a top 5, top 10 point guard in this game. The problem was he did dominate the ball in his younger years. Let's be honest. He still needed a team in which he wanted to show that I can win or lose with or without it. What he has finally figured out at this Phoenix team, maybe it took that Houston series, maybe it took them LA Clippers series where he failed, maybe it took him to get traded to OKC and still lose to the dude that he was on the team with prior to the year. I don't know, but he finally figured out it's okay to let go of the ball and let my people do what they do best.
Yep.
That's why we're seeing his best version of himself. That's why we see 15 assists and 0 turnovers, because he's not dominating the ball. Once again, I'm going to repeat it again until I'm blue in the face, until y'all fuckers get it. The playoffs, to win these championships, you have to do what is uncomfortable to you at your normal core. Chris Paul finally figured it out. I don't have to play big minutes. I got a young boy by the name of Cameron Payne that's just as quick as how I used to be. He want to learn this game. I'm teaching him. So when I get on the bench, it's still going to be the same business as usual. I got Devin Booker, who the one thing that he struggled with was figuring out how to maneuver a double team. Now he doesn't have to. I still got my rim running big. I got my stretch 4 who can shoot threes and guard a big man and Jay Crowder. I got a wing who is way better than y'all think he is in Mikal Bridges, I'm sorry. It's real. So Phoenix is looking ready.
And Ham, I'm gonna go to you. Philadelphia, I think, flexed its muscle on the Young Hawks on Friday night.
Strong.
And what I think we've seen with Philadelphia, and Ham, I'm gonna let you lead this one here. We know about the process and how dominant he is. But we talk about guys making another step. And for me, it's Tobias Harris. Tobias Harris started in the Washington series, and he has continued it in this series. He's too big for the Hawks wing players. He's too quick. for the few bigs that they had. He's too quick for them. He's too strong for the wing players. Tobias just kind of getting whatever he wants to out there.
Mm-hmm. Tobias having his best success again with Doc Rivers. You put him in that element. Doc letting him eat. And you know who else been bringing it? Doc's son-in-law. Seth been shooting the cover off the ball, man. Stepping up, making big shots, big plays. They got the taste out of game one. They got that out the way. And now it's just looking like, well, we're going to see, when do they play again? Tomorrow night? It's game
Right.
4?
Mm-hmm.
So we get over in that. We're going to really get to see how the Hawks respond in that. But I'm getting the feeling of overwhelming, starting to sink in, where the Hawks are still a young, talented bunch. It's going to be exciting to watch them going down the future. But right now, Philly just too. And then Joel doing whatever the hell he wants. So,
Jerm, bring you back in here. I just think Philadelphia, the size of Embiid, Harris, and Simmons. I think with a little taste of the Road Warrior, Dwight Howard, their Road Warrior animal haircut. I just think the size is too much. I think they're kind of overwhelming the Hawks with their size and their ability to kind of guard them on the perimeter with that same size. Jerm, bring you back in here, Hawks and Philly.
I was actually excited to talk about this series in particular. I see some holes in Philly. So that's why we're here. First thing, Philly isn't doing a great job of guarding the perimeter necessarily. What they're doing is they're making them guard on the other end. And I can tell that it's affecting the jump shooters. I can tell that Bogan Bogdanovic is tired at the end of the third, beginning of the fourth quarter. Mm-hmm. Jump shots are looking flat. I can tell that Herter is tired toward the end of the game. I'm having to run up and down the court with Ben Simmons for certain parts of this. So with all those people out there talking about Ben Simmons not scoring on offense, Ben Simmons does a lot of other things that really work for this Philly team. Mm-hmm. And one of them is he is the engine in transition. They can run a 4-on-5 with Embiid as the trailer, because Ben Simmons, if he get in that paint, it's an Embiid 3, or it's a Seth Curry 3, or it's a Tobias Harris 3, or it's a watch your head. It's like that. Atlanta, y'all got to make threes. Y'all won the game that y'all made y'all threes, ironically, right? If y'all look at the series, they have not won the last 2 games because they are not making jumpers. Period. They're shooting better at the foul line. They're actually getting to the foul line against this Philly defense. Majority of it we know is Trey. Ice Trey is doing his thing. He had a tough shooting night the last couple nights. I'm going to be interested to see what's the adjustment in game 4. You lost your best perimeter wing defender in Hunter with the meniscus tear. That is the difference in the series, and that's probably why it's going to be a hard 5.
Thank you. Offense too. Absolutely.
But no. It's really just the fact because Tobias Harris, like Big Shot said, I got to give Tobias the credit he deserves.
Yeah.
That's the only person big enough, strong enough that I would be comfortable guarding Tobias. Swinging the ball.
No. I mean, I'll be quick. It's Ben Simmons. Ben Simmons guarding Trae Young. I don't care what y'all want to say about it. Trae Young cannot get his shot off on that boy. And all of those antics of trying to get to the foul line, some of it worked. But at the end of the day, he's 6'10" with the feet work and the speed of a 5'11" guy. And that's what's making it happen. And now he's starting to understand who he is. Of course, he's not going to shoot a jump shot. So you know what he does? He goes in the post. Go in the post. You got a 5'11" dude on him. Go in the post. He has a right-hand jump hook. He has a left-hand jump hook. He's ambidextrous around the basket. There's no need for you to even want to shoot a jump shot. Why? You push the ball. If they cut you off, pass it, go to the post. You have a big that can shoot threes. Tobias Harris, when you get tired, you can go to the bench. Tobias Harris can go to the post. When both of y'all get tired, Joel Embiid gonna get his no matter what. And then you got shooters around. There's no need to complicate this. And with Atlanta, they're just young. When Cam Reddish and DeAndre Hunter come back, I'll be able to get a better view as to what they are. But those two guys are the wild cards that they need, because everybody else, with the exception of Gallinari, who is old, and Lou Williams, who is old, are shooters. Shooters or rim runners. That's it. Clint Capella and Ronnie's rookie, they trying to catch oops and dunk. That's what all they're trying to do. Everybody else is just trying to shoot, with the exception of the two that I just mentioned. But because their age is what they are, they're not going to be able to give you 4 times out of 7, 25 points. It's just not going to happen. They'll give you 1 game, but not 4. And that's what it is. Trav, go ahead.
I'm just gonna be quick with this. Trae Young is actually getting wore down. It's not just him, not just Ben Simmons that's guarding. Thibault is irritating his soul. Yeah. He's irritating his soul, and they finally found a way to. Trae Young has a very good feel keeping them defenders on his back and drawing that foul on that screen and roll action. But them guys are guarding it so well, he's getting wore out. But that was my input on that.
Yeah, last thing I just want to say.
Really good.
Go ahead. No, last thing I was going to say real quick is, to MJ's point, what would help is if they had Cam Reddish, and Cam Reddish was actually initiating the offense and making Ben Simmons actually have to run around with Trae Young. That would be a wrinkle that would help in this series, because it gives you the Steph feel. And ultimately, I'm going to say this, and this goes down to the Brooklyn series. Kyrie, in this offseason, it's time for that Steph Curry lab. We're working a little too hard on offense against Drew Holiday, who's bigger and stronger than us. We may as well take him on the 300-mile tour every game.
And it goes back to it. Success in them championships dwell in the areas you don't want to go. Kyrie is so arrogant with his ball handling and with his ability to create. He don't feel like he got to do the shit that Steph do. He don't feel like he has to. But now you working so hard.
I'm only here to report the news.
Hey, I get what you're saying, but I'm telling you where success dwells. You got to go in the areas that you ain't willing to go to win these chips. Go ahead, Big Shot.
Well, as we wrap this up, it's about to get uncomfortable, because Milwaukee, as we about to shut it down,
16.
Is up 15 with 3 minutes to go in the third quarter. So we're gonna see if Milwaukee finish the series. But hey, this is, as our man Worldwide Les said this in our little group chat. I kind of believe him, especially if Brooklyn is not going to be healthy. This is wide open.
Yeah.
As far as who's going to win this shit.
Absolutely. Yeah. That's what's making all this real fun right now.
Yeah.
When you look over on the West too, it's like, oh, word. Okay, that's cool.
That's why I always say, barring injury, before I make a prediction.
This is also why I say every year around this time, the healthiest of the best teams will prevail.
Not hard. War of attrition.
Some may say it's a cop-out. I just say sit back and watch the next 2 months and see how this player shit unfolds.
So what we're going to see now, as we close out, we're going to watch this game away. And we're going to find out, can Kevin shoot us back into a game?
Will he be willing? He can. Will he be willing?
Right now, he got a hope.
That's why I said it's can. Because you may not be able to.
Yeah. We give a lot of flack to LeBron for not taking over games and doing the Jordan shit. Hey, KD ain't did it either.
Now we about to find out. So with that being said, we're going to get out of here. We got tequila sunrise. We got chicken. We got smoked turkey wings. We got air conditioning. We got it all. We got it all out here. So remember, 94 Feet of Life is the Facebook group. Scene is the channel. Join the Facebook group. Subscribe to the channel. We right here. 94 Feet of Life, the barbecue edition. signing out.
Central Air.